Hello class, good morning. So this is the introduction lesson for our business finance class. So I am your teacher Ezekiel Jacob D. Carinan, and I would like you to be introduced to business finance. So our lesson 1 is where do we go from here? Now, why do we need business finance in the first place? So, finance is the main fuel of every business. We already know that, no? No matter what size. However, sometimes a business can face monetary constraints and a shortage of funds. So, in such a scenario, taking a loan or a mortgage can help power up the enterprise. So, for example, if you're going to put up your own business, sometimes you need to contract a loan or sell some properties in order to fund your own business. So the influx of cash can be used for multiple purposes, and it could range from enhancing working capital, expansion, purchasing new assets, replenishing a stock, hiring more staff, or refinancing to pay off an existing debt. So in Tagalog or in Filipino, the range of activities daw of a business can vary from working capital, ito yung capital na nag-work in order to run your business, expansion or pagpapalaki ng negosyo, purchasing new assets or pagbili ng mga bagong assets na makakatulong sa negosyo niya, like for example, buildings, vehicles, or brand name. Replenishing a stock, hiring more staff or yung pag-hire ng employees, or refinancing to pay off an existing debt. So, business finance refers to funds availed by business owners to meet their needs that may include commencing a business, obtaining top-up funds to finance business operations, obtaining finance to purchase capital assets for the business, or to deal with the sudden cash crunch faced by the business. So, this is the importance of business finance. We're always going back to if the funds are available for us or not. 'Di ba? So, in let's just explore first what a financial institution is in general, ano? So, financial institutions are intermediaries between consumers and the capital or the debt markets providing banking and investment services. So, ang financial institution, sometimes it acts as a middleman. Kinoconnect niya yung consumer from the uh, to the capital na kinakailangan ng consumer. So, it may either be, for example, katulad ng Banco de Oro, or di kaya yung mga pinanggagalingan ng mga hedge funds or ng mga funds investments, like for example, Waterstocks Capital, 'di ba? So, may in order for you to run your own business, the financial institutions helps you to be connected with the sources of investment. Yun nga. So, yung consumer, which is yung mga business owners, yung mga nangangailangan ng funds, ikinoconnect sila ng mga financial institutions to the capital that they need. Okay? So, what is the definition of a financial institution? A financial institution is responsible for the supply of money to the market through the transfer of funds from investors to the companies in the form of loans, deposits, and investments. Pag sinabing loans, utang. Pag sinabing deposits, ito yung mga dinedeposit or ito yung mga perang inilalagay ng mga um, patrons ng mismong banks. So, pinapalakad yun or pinapatakbo yun ng mga banks by putting them into different investments. 'Di ba? So, large financial institutions such as JP Morgan, Chase, HSBC, Goldman Sachs, or Morgan Stanley can even control the flow of money in an economy. So, this is the example of a bank. So, a bank is a financial institution, di po ba? So, it may also avail the individual consumers such as ordinary people kung sino yung mga nangangailangan umutang, or it can also avail corporations that need funds. So for example, let's say Ayala is going to fund a project, a building project, di ba? What it will do is it will seek the RCBC, for example, the Bank of RCBC, in order to finance such project or to make it happen. So, as you can see, when it comes to bank, you will hear the words payment, money, credit card, debit card, service, bank checks, withdrawals, deposits. Yan. So let us talk about first yung pinakapunot dulo kung bakit we need to learn about finance. Because business finance is all about handling and managing your own assets, 'di ba? Even though primarily it involves money or for in some way cash always or all the time. However, if we do not understand yet the nature of assets that we would have as businesses, hindi mo maiintindihan kung bakit ganun na lang yung flow ng tinatawag nating pera doon sa ating financial market or financial economy. So in order to connect these things or in order for you to be introduced to the world of finance much more easier, we have first to discuss the different assets, the basic concepts of assets in the very first place. So ano na nga ba yung mga assets commonly na hinuhold ng mga companies or businesses in order for them to run? So first of all, we have bank and money market accounts. Okay. So a money market account is an interest-bearing account at a bank or credit union, not to be confused with the money market mutual fund. So sometimes referred to as money market deposit accounts, money market accounts have some features not found in other types of accounts. So itong mga money market accounts, ito yung mga sometimes binibenta or pinopromote ng mga banks in order for you to put your money to them. And for a certain period of time, you would have to wait before withdrawing them. So yung perang hinihingi or binibigay nyo sa money market accounts ng mga banks, pinapalakad mo na nila yun for a certain period of time in order for the economy to run. So, kunyari, for example, I would decide to make a money market account with the Banco de Oro. I would put, for example, my 5,000 pesos there, and for a certain period, sabihin natin 5,000, hindi ko muna yun i-withdraw. And in return, mayroong kapalit yun na deposit na ibibigay after a certain period of time na hindi ko siya ginagalaw sa bangko. So what are the advantages of handling or getting your money in these kinds of accounts? Of course, you will exercise control if you're an individual consumer. Hindi lahat ng mga pera mo mas maliliquidate. Mas mape-preserve pa nga siya kapag nasa bangko eh. Ang risk dito or disadvantage dito is that for a certain period of time, nababawasan yung liquidity ng asset mo. Ano ibig sabihin pag nababawasan ng liquidity ng asset mo? Ang ibig sabihin nun, if you have certain needs na kailangan dapat i-meet, hindi mo kaagad magagawa yun because nasa bangko agad yung perang hinahawakan mo. So next, another type of account which are being enabled by the banks is the certificates of deposit. So ano naman tong certificate of deposit? A certificate of deposit is a savings account that holds a fixed amount of money for a fixed period of time such as 6 months, 1 year, or 5 years. And in exchange, the issuing bank pays interest. So it's almost the same with the money market accounts. Now, when you cash in or redeem your certificate deposit, you receive the money you originally invested plus any interest. So, ano ba yung mas pinagkaiba ng money market account versus certificate of deposits? So, ang pinagkaiba nila primarily is talagang doon muna siya sa, ang pinagkaiba niya is doon sa part ng, of course, una sa pangalan. But on the other hand kasi, the money market account, ang may control kung saan mo siya i-invest is ikaw bilang isang tao. So for example, let's say you would like to choose some of the companies that you would like your money to run. For example, let's say since pandemic, kumikita ngayon ng mga medical companies, di ba? You would want your money to run in a money market account where the health firms or the health companies are being funded. However, pagdating naman sa certificate of deposit, bahala na mismo yung bangko mamimili kung ano yung kung saan niya i-invest yon, 'di ba? So, next, cash on hand. So ito yung pera na nasa kamay mo. It's sometimes referred to as cash or cash equivalents. It is the total amount of cash of a business that it can access, whether from its on-site paper bills or from its bank accounts and assets. Typically, business owners consider any asset they can liquidate into cash in 90 days or fewer as cash on hand. Next, we have the bonds, and mutual funds. Now, stocks and bonds are characterized by asset classes. On the other hand, mutual funds are pooled investment vehicles. So, in a mutual fund, money collected from various investors is taken together to buy a large variety of securities. Now, a mutual fund gives an investor instant diversification. How about a house, 'di ba? This is also a house or a building is an asset as well, ano? If you would go to your accounting subject, this is what you call a non-current asset. So a house, like any other object that comes into your possession, is classified as an asset. You can offset the value of the asset with the value of the mortgage. Your liability, your house, an asset subtracted by your remaining mortgage. Ibig sabihin ng mortgage, utang mo sa bangko. So for example, when you say mortgage, uutang ka in order for you to build your own house, sabihin natin. So yung bahay na yun, isi-secure mo or gagawin mo siyang parang security to pay off the said loan. Just in case that you fail to pay. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? Nag-loan ka mula sa bangko para magkaroon ng bahay. And in return, itong bahay na to, ibebenta ito ng bangko in case na hindi mo siya mabayaran yung inutang mong pera. So in a sense, parang you are actually you are being tested by the said bank na just in case na hindi mo bayaran yung pera fully, yung bahay na pinagawa mo, yun yung magiging kapalit ng mga perang inutang mo. But later on, mas i-explain ko pa tong mortgage. We have land. Land is a fixed asset, which means that its expected usage period should exceed 1 year. Land is considered to be the longest lived asset since it cannot be depreciated and so has an essentially eternal useful life. Okay, so as you already have known before, land is an appreciating asset. So as time goes by, the value of a land increases. However, that is an objective assessment. Bakit pag sinabi nating objective assessment? Sabihin natin nag-increase yung land mo ng 1 million to 3 million pesos after 6 months. Hindi naman ibig sabihin nun that there will come a buyer agad na bibili ng lupang binibenta mo for the amount of 3 million pesos because that's just the kind of valuation of the property that you have, despite the fact that its own value has really or actually increased. So, depende pa rin yun sa demand ng lupa. Sabihin natin, let's say, tumaas yung value ng land mo sa isang province, di ba? However, no one would like to live there in such province kahit tumaas yung value ng lupa. Now, at the end of the day, what will happen is the land that you've invested on is not actually appreciating subjectively because walang nag-a-avail ng ganitong presyo para sa lupain na hawak mo. So later I will explain the different factors regarding what affects the valuation of lands and how it is connected actually with business finance. So assets regarding rental property. Now, rental housing refers to a property occupied by someone other than the owner for which the tenant pays a periodic mutually agreed rent to the owner. So ito yung mga paupahan. Next, vehicles. A vehicle is also a fixed and a non-current asset if its use includes commuting or hauling company products. However, property, plant, and equipment costs are generally reported on financial statements as a net of accumulated depreciation. Because as you all know, a vehicle only lasts for how many years? Probably minimum 5 to 10 years, diba? So that is what you call a vehicle being an asset. So I hope that you've learned from this preview of the introduction to business finance. Later on, mas maliliwanagan kayo kung bakit tayo nag-start sa pag-introduce ng assets regarding business finance. Because at the end of the day, we have to know na yung pera na ginagamit natin in our business operations, hindi lang siya all about banking or hindi lang siya about money transactions. But the reason why we have this flow of money is because of these wealth of accounts that are existing in the very first place. So thank you for listening.